The shocking domino effect on oil refineries in Russia. How Putin totally fooled Trump. New drone catching net developed by Ukrainians. That's in our episode of News Digest. This is The Gaze. Stay tuned and subscribe. Russia has been forced to change its August oil export plans after Ukrainian drone strikes damaged several refineries. Moscow now suddenly has a lot of crude oil it can process, so the new plan: ship it out. Instead of the originally planned 1.8 million barrels a day from Western ports, exports are now jumping to 2 million. Why? Because when your refineries are smoking ruins, exporting raw crude becomes plan B. Nothing says energy superpower like being forced to sell what you can use.
Export planning remains uncertain, however, due to ongoing strikes and shifting repair schedules, so delays and volume revisions are likely, they said. Russian oil sellers were yet to receive final loading plans for September, though normally they have the full plan a week before the loading months. Russia's energy ministry and Transneft oil pipeline monopoly did not immediately respond to requests for comment from a Reuters publication.
Direct consequences of the Ukrainian sanctions against the Russian oil industry you can see on the screen right now. ISW knows that Russia already struggled to meet domestic fuel demand even before the latest attacks, periodically imposing export bans since 2022. The new wave of strikes has intensified the shortage and triggered sharp price hikes across Russia and occupied territories, driving up consumer and business costs in multiple sectors. The report warns that higher fuel prices will push inflation expectation and overall inflation upward, creating additional direct and indirect costs for the economy.
The strikes on the refineries come amid a peak in seasonal demand for gasoline in Russia from tourists and farmers. Russia tightened its ban on gasoline exports in July due to a sharp increase in domestic demand. This has caused fuel shortages in parts of the temporarily occupied Ukrainian territories and in the southern regions of Russia and Far East. Over the past months, Ukrainian drone strikes have hit the Volgograd refinery of Lukoil, the Ryazan refinery of Rosneft, the Novoshakhtinsky and Syzran refineries, the Saratov refinery and the Afibsky refinery in Krasnodar Krai, and the Novokuybashevsk refinery in the Samara region of Russian Federation have also been hit, from the Military Portal publication.
The fire at the Novoshakhtinsk oil refinery was so massive it could be seen from space. The result: fuel prices inside Russia have skyrocketed, and in many places fuel simply disappeared from gas stations. Because what? Because the Russian army needs fuel for the war as well, not only for civilians. And right now, civilian needs are not of the prime interest to Russia. Meanwhile, the timing couldn't be worse. The Institute for the Study of War points out that Russia's central bank just cut interest rates, a move that now looks brilliantly premature. Inflation is rising, and Ukrainian drone strikes have already knocked out at least 17% of Russia's refining capacity. That's about 1.1 million barrels a day, according to Reuters. Ukraine's hits have taken out processing facilities, parts of the Druzhba pipeline in critical pumping stations, squeezing Russia's ability to refine and export crude in any meaningful way. So yes, the fuel crisis is real, and war machine is eating its own economy alive. Trump says he is very angry and pissed off at Putin, and Trump said it not today. He said it in March 2025. 5 months ago, Trump said it after an early morning phone call with NBC News. If he believes the Kremlin is at fault for a ceasefire is not being reached with Ukraine, he may impose secondary sanctions. 5 months ago, Trump was very angry with Vladimir Putin when the Russian dictator criticized the legitimacy of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. 5 months ago, Trump said that such Putin's comments were, I quote, not going in the right location. 5 months ago, that was said by the President of the United States of America. What has happened since? Well, you tell us.
If Russia and I are unable to make a deal on stopping the bloodshed in Ukraine, and if I think it was Russia's fault, I'm going to put secondary tariffs on all oil coming out of Russia. That would be that if you buy oil from Russia, you can't do business in the United States. There will be a 25% tariff on all oil, a 25 to 50% point tariff on all oil. Donald Trump in a comment for NBC News in March 2025.
Then a lot of water went under the bridge in the next 5 months. Like 5,000 drones fired at Ukraine, tons of ballistic missiles killing and wounding hundreds of civilians, including children. For these 5 months in a row, counting from the moment that Trump was very, very angry at Putin, mass destruction, devastation, torture and terror was coming from Russia at Ukraine. And Russia was coming to America. Russia was welcomed with open arms, red carpet rolled out, handshakes, hugs, etc. It was a full break from Putin's long-standing diplomatic isolation, traded in for a bunch of great promises. To stop the war, to meet Zelensky's face-to-face, to stop killing civilians. The meeting was great, the expectations were high, and for some still are.
President Putin at the Alaska summit, Brett, actually acknowledged that this war would never have happened if the president had been in office. And
Did he also say that at that Alaska summit that he wanted peace? Did he tell you that he wanted to bring an end to the war?
Absolutely. There's a peace proposal on the table. He has certainly said that, and hopefully he stands by that.
You know, it takes two people to tango, and I say it all the time. You got to get them together. I get along with Zelensky now, but we have a much different relationship because now we're not paying any money to Ukraine. You know, stop that. Thousands of young people, mostly young people, are dying every single week. If I can save that by doing sanctions or by just being me, or by using a very strong tariff system that's very costly to Russia or Ukraine or whoever we have, you know. But I stopped 7 wars, and 3 of those wars were going on for more than 30 years.
Being angry with an aggressor doesn't stop aggression. Breaking his international isolation, giving him the red carpet, presidential treatment doesn't send a message of strength. It sends a message that Vladimir Putin is free to keep playing his game, keep testing limits, and keep making a fool out of the President of the United States. And we have more for you on defending Ukrainian territory. One of the biggest threats to servicemen on the front line is enemies' FPV drones. And to intercept and neutralize such UAVs, a designer from Lviv has developed a special device. If you like Spider-Man, stay tuned. More in our report.
Inside this small device is a special net that shoots out and quickly unfolds in the air. It's capable of intercepting and disabling a drone mid-flight.
Потрібно цими 3 пальцями.
You grip the handle with 3 fingers. This finger triggers the action when you press the button after removing the safety pin. You need to aim in line with the barrel's axis.
This single-use net launcher, called Mitla, broom in English, was created by Artur Shaginyan, a 3D designer from Lviv. After watching numerous interviews with servicemen, he noticed a common problem. Frontline troops often have no way to defend themselves against drones. That's when the idea came, creating a handheld net launcher for use when a drone is already close.
Коли поруч, вже десь FPV.
When an FPV drone is already nearby, it usually lines up to hit the target. In many situations, for example, when a drone is chasing a car, you can stick the device out the window and shoot it down right from the car or trunk.
The device fires a net up to 20 meters. It entangles the drone's propellers and disables it. One net launcher costs about $85. Artur says that's dozens of times cheaper than foreign alternatives.
Вже були також бойові застосування.
There have already been combat uses, like when a drone was chasing a vehicle and was shot down. A big advantage was that the drone didn't detonate during neutralization. Net launchers are still a new concept. People are only starting to adapt to them, just like they did with FPV drones in the beginning, when no one was sure how useful they'd be.
The development took nearly a year. It's currently undergoing testing. Artur is working closely with the military, considering all possible modifications. Soldiers believe the invention will be useful on the front line, but they want more precision and range.
Загалом побачив в інтернеті.
I saw this invention online and was immediately interested. There's a huge threat to our troops from drones constantly following them. That's why devices like this must be produced. The main thing is that the net must deploy every single time. There has to be a 100% guarantee. If a soldier is using this as a last resort, he must know it will work 100%, not 50 or 60.
The main advantage of this device is that it doesn't rely on electronics. Many drones, especially FPV ones, are now resistant to electronic warfare or simply ignore jamming systems. These drones can't be taken down by standard electronic countermeasures. In such cases, physically destroying or stopping the drone is the only option.
І протидія може
Countermeasures don't always have to be electronic. Some drones use fiber optics or can lock onto a target from 400-500 meters away and continue toward it without a pilot control. So their options are using pulsed laser weapons, kinetic destruction, meaning hitting it with another drone or a projectile, or devices like this. We have pump-action guns and now net launchers like this one.
Similar net launchers to Mitla are used by other militaries as well. For example, Japanese police use interceptor drones that fire nets mid-air. In the US, there are pneumatic cannons that launch nets from special barrels, but the Ukrainian version stands out for its simplicity, battlefield readiness, and affordability. Reported by Yulia Bil, Vadim Dmitriev from Lviv region, UATV News.
I urge you to join the fight for freedom and sovereignty, subscribe to our channel and stay tuned to what is happening in the world presented from Ukrainian perspective. Hope to see you very soon. Stay tuned. Goodbye.